Yes, we are in the building, episode 1 of series 1 of Real to Real. And today I'm over the moon, slightly nervous, but over the moon to have my boy Vass Blackwood, the writer, the producer, the actor. A lot of people know him by the name Shadow, other people know him by Mr. Rory Breaker. But he's a man of many talents, and he's an amazing man, and I'm proud to have him on the show. Vass, welcome to Real, my brother.
Welcome, Lee. Lee Maddox, man. Maddox, welcome, man. Yeah.
You say, Vass, all good? How you been, man? How are you?
Really, really well, yeah.
Marvellous.
Very well indeed, thank you very much.
Might get a little bit of feedback, Vass, but it's a little hiccup, it'll be fine.
No problem, okay. I did move my mic a little bit, that's all right?
Yeah, that's
Leave
cool,
it
man.
like that.
You're
That's
good, man.
great,
You're
man.
great, you're
Yeah,
great.
that's great, yeah, we'll just work with it, yeah. It's nice,
All good, man. So, yeah, Vass, basically, I've got a list of questions. Look, I'm just going to hit you up with them, yeah? Just we'll go from there.
Okay.
So I understand from doing it, I know we've been friends for many years. I've known you for decades,
Yep.
30 years.
Yep.
Since I was a kid.
I know your family,
Know
your
my
mum and dad,
family,
yeah,
mum, dad, the
your
work,
brothers,
yeah?
sisters, yeah.
Anyway, so basically, where I was at was I was like, I wanted to kind of give people a bit of I've seen some interviews with you, and obviously being a friend and whatnot. I just thought there's some other juicy bits of you that I feel that I haven't gone deep on the questions, but I thought there's a few little ones that I'm interested in to see what you give me with them. But basically, we're just going to have a little run through them and see how you get on, innit? So, boom. Number one is I understand that in the 1980s you got your acting card.
Equity
Card, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what was life like before that as a youngster for young Vass, and what led up to that point?
Yeah. Okay, well, I was brought up on just down the road, Leighton Road, 163 Leighton Road. Mum and Dad bought that. They came over from Jamaica in 1958, 59.
Yep.
And they bought 163 Leighton Road in the early 60s for £15,000. Leighton Road, Kentish Town, Northwest 5. Yeah, and grew up in that house there. So I suppose you could say we're fairly middle class, really. Middle class because I had my own garden, my own bedroom. We had a house.
Yeah.
And Mum and Dad worked. Dad in the post office and my mum as a nurse.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
almost identical.
Yeah, that's right. My dad done 35 years in the post office. So I grew up in that area, in that environment. Went to school, Eleanor Palmer Primary School, just along the road there.
Yeah.
And then I went to secondary school, Sir William Collins, which was like in Somers Town.
Right.
In just behind Coco.
Yeah.
I know, so people listening this will know Coco in Camden. It used to be Camden Palace.
Yeah,
So it's just
right.
Mornington Crescent, just round the back there. And that was a school of not hard knocks, but more like to say, I don't even know how I ended up there, really, to be honest with you. But then I dabbled a little bit at doing drama.
Right.
But I was a member of. I was going to WAC, Weekends Art Centre.
Yes. So that was going on then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to WAC then,
Amazing.
and that was, I would say 14, 15, 16 WAC. So that was really like I was kind of just dabbling with it, and my friends were actors were into the acting as well. The friends I was hanging out with who didn't really go to Sir William Collins, only because Sir William Collins was all the way, and that's why I mentioned it was all the way down in Mornington Crescent, whereas most of my friends were in this area, and a lot of them were into the acting. So I was kind of strongly influenced. But, and they went to Ackland Burley, where you were, which was massive with the acting and arts. Yeah,
hence, Hence I've done a bit of acting.
Yeah. That's what anyone who went to Burley, right? Anyone who went to Burley, as you know. So very good. Even now, my son went there, and even now, they're really good on the drama. So I was influenced, and I used to go into some of the classes, actually, some of the art teachers and drama classes at Ackland Burley. That's when I got friendly with Celia Greenwood, who started WAC, who was teaching drama at Ackland Burley.
Okay,
yeah. So they were kind of my mentors.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then what happened?
Shout out Celia Greenwood.
Yeah, Celia Greenwood. Yeah,
Lovely.
yeah. Amazing. And Martha, and all of those. Right. And then Miss Noble. Yeah. And then what happened was that I then decided, when I was leaving Sir William Collins, I did my O-levels, CSCs and O-levels. I could have done better, but then I decided I didn't do too bad, and then I decided to go on into I was going to go to, enrolled at Westminster University. Amazing. To do a hotel management degree,
Right.
diploma. So they start you like, so you actually work experience as well. So I was doing the degree, the diploma, and work experience. So they start you literally in the kitchen. And then at Westminster, then I would go to Westminster. I'd be learning like to be a commis chef and working my way up and all of this, that, and the other. And then from the kitchen, I'd move into then into the managerial roles of how you run restaurants and hotels. So there'd probably been a manager of a hotel, oddly enough. But I loved cooking.
I could see you in that role.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So you love cooking?
Actually, that's a really good idea for a TV series, like a Black Basil 40. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, come on.
Yeah, off his head.
Do you feel that
Threatening. Threatening. So they. But no. So basically, just to get back to answer that question in a roundabout way. So, what happened was that there was a girl at Westminster who was doing makeup. Even though she was doing the course as well, same course as me, she was also a makeup artist. And I remember she used to tell me that, weekend just gone, I was on a shoot. And, all right, okay. So it was, the acting thing was coming back to my mind, even though I was doing this. And then I was on the 137 bus coming back from Westminster. I'll never forget it. Going up through Sloane Square, coming back to Kentish Town, and something just said to me, be an actor. Be an actor. I literally heard it. And it was strange because Mum and Dad had just gone through a divorce. Right. And there was a little bit, I was staying with my dad in Kentish Town at the time, and there was a little bit of money floating around, and I knew that I had to pay to go enroll at this drama school. So I just told him I'm going to leave that and go into the drama. Yeah. And will you pay for my, enroll me? And he said, yeah, he would.
Oh, lovely. So he supported you.
Yeah, to an extent. But then I only stayed a couple of terms because I jumped before I was pushed. So I just left there. And then up to the time, I left there because during that period, right, with my friends, we used to hang out at the Old Red Lion pub. Yeah. In Islington, Angel, the theatre, right? And back then it was really popular with. It still is. Actors, Phil Daniels, Kathy Burke, a lot of big names, even guys that were even American actors that were doing films in the state. Alex Cox, he did Repo Man, and director like him. They would somehow gravitate to the Old Red Lion because there's plays on upstairs, but they
so
knew
that. So we're talking, what's this, 1980, 82?
Yeah, 80s, 80s,
Wicked.
Going up. So I was hanging out, the Quadrophenia film had been at Leslie Ash, all those, Paula Wilcox, Toya Wilcox. Yeah, a lot of singers, used to hang out there.
Lovely.
So whilst I was there, I met a director. There was a director who had just set up a black theatre cooperative. And they just got a grant from the Arts Council, and a writer, Farouk Dondi, who went on to be commissioning editor for the ethnic department at Channel 4, but he was a teacher at the time, very close with Darcus Howe.
Right,
Race Today. They had a paper called Race Today. He was writing a play. Right. So this producer, director of this theatre company, Black Theatre Cooperative, he said, we've got workshops going on. Do you want to come along to them? So I started to go along to his workshop at the factory. Yeshantwa Centre down in West London. The Chippenham Mews. So it was called the Factory at the time. So I started to go there, and Victor Romero Evans, a lot of the lot that were in No Problem, Trevor Laird and actors like that. We used to go there. We weren't getting paid, but obviously I was still at home. So it was good. But then I started to go to these workshops, and I think I went for about 8 weeks. And what happened was, round about that period, after the 8th week, Farouk had written the play so they could ascertain the casting for the roles. They could see the roles. And I was holding my own at the workshops. So they offered me a role. And that's how I got my equity card, doing a play called Mama Dragon. So I was 18, and funnily enough, guess who got a card the same time as me on the same production, but she was she was doing the costume? Bella Freud.
Oh wow, look at that.
Bella Freud,
Absolutely.
Bella
Yeah,
Freud,
big
you know,
up
because
Bella
Bella was
Freud.
hanging out with us then,
Amazing.
and she was the costume girl. So it was something there. So I got my equity card. That was it. That was it, Lee.
Super cool, and that was a roundup to it. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
ask you, Vas, because I've obviously been a few years younger than you.
yeah.
I met you when I was going to school at about the age of 12 or 13 years of age.
Yeah.
You, as an older man for me, was obviously now in your 20s.
Yeah.
Bought your property, had your little basement flat in by the Heath there, and you'd bring us in there. You'd let us come in, and that blew my mind really, because I thought I was going to school in maybe a posh area with a lot of well-to-do kids, but then seeing a black man who was in the generation above me, and arts was definitely becoming quite a theme in my life, and being the school that I went to. So seeing you was really inspirational,
Thank
and
you.
the fact that we had a link, we had some good times, Vas. But you always inspired me. But my question is, I didn't know you prior to me being 13 years of age. But was there ever a time where you was quite rebellious in your life? Because I know you got the rebel spirit. I can feel it in everything you say and do.
No.
But you're very poised with it.
Yeah, but the thing is that when I was my school, the school that I went to was like, it's very interesting school, because there was a lot of young male testosterone floating around in my school, and it was a school of hard knocks to an extent, because it was connected with Islington, so you had a lot of the guys that were sort of known, like the Adamses and people that went to my school.
Absolutely.
And I grew up with these guys, and because I was always able to make people laugh. So being at that school was fun for me, because a lot of those guys, especially because I do a lot of writing, and you often find with most guys that have got an age, if you've watched Goodfellas or any of these films, there's always funny bits in it.
Absolutely.
You know, because these guys, they have a sense of Sopranos. There's loads of funny things,
Absolutely.
and these guys are like that. So and when they were young, they were very similar to how they became men. They matured fast, these guys.
Yeah.
So I went to Jamaica for the first time ever at the age of 7.
Right.
So when I went to Jamaica, and we've got family in law, studying law, you know, and I met a lot of interesting people in Jamaica. First time I went was for 2 months, and I remember my mum had to get permission from Eleanor Palmer, because we were going for a big wedding, and she insisted, you know, and they let me go. Yeah, they let me go, and I went. My sister didn't go, just my mum and I. And you know, and then one thing I learned about Jamaica is our coat of arms is out of many one people. So I was meeting white Jamaicans, Chinese Jamaicans, Indian Jamaicans, obviously black Jamaicans. So I knew then, as a 7, 8 year old, that I came from a really special place.
Yeah.
Right.
Big up, yeah.
Yeah. Where it was just like, it was they're all talking the Jamaican patois, and there were white, black, mixture. So when I came back, that had a massive impression on me as well. So I remember even landing in Jamaica. But one thing also I learned as well in Jamaica is that, because I met, you'd meet, because of one of my uncles is a barrister, studying to be a barrister then, but he's a big senator now. Right. And he always looked after, he was like a poor man's people, looked after the poor man, and he looked after some of the top criminals then, and there were even DJs, and he used to support a lot of the top DJs, right? And they used to pay him in records, their slates, that hadn't come out yet, but he's got a safe full of them now. And then like top guys, a lot of these DJs, and the same way you've got the DJs, the same way you've got the DJs that are like pretty edgy now, like Ninja Man, Vibes Cartel, I mean, they're both in prison for murder. Do you know what I mean? And
not Ninja.
Yeah, Ninja's in prison for murder. He's
Ninja
been
gone
in prison for quite a while.
Has
Yeah,
he? Yeah?
you
Right,
Google it.
okay,
Yeah. No, he's there. He's locked away. Yeah, bless him. But those guys, like Rankin Dread Boyack. Boyack was his name, and these guys are lively, and they see the Super Cat, they sing about what they know, and I'd say did,
what they lived.
what they know, what they know.
Yeah.
Josie Wells, he was very active politically, because a lot of them were active politically. So with the politics and all of that, and Jamaica, and also the school I went to,
PMP, JP.
yeah, JLP. I often know about the Edge, and I grew up, and it's what my school. Someone who's very very close to me when I was at school. He was a couple of years older than me. It was Gilbert Winters, who was an enforcer for the Adamses, but he was like one of my friends, but older peers, but used to look out for me all the time. So all that business that you were talking about, militant. I'm not really like.
No,
I'm
were you rebellious?
No,
In any
I
way,
wasn't.
shape-
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
No.
Never give your parents any problems.
No,
or
no,
anything like that.
no,
Always.
no.
That was my interest.
No.
What I was interested in, because I feel like you've always kept a nice, clean, positive image.
Yeah.
But where I know you personally, you know this. You get to know the spirit of a man when you know the man for many a year. So it's just like, I just know the running up, especially after that first question, is that running up that period of time. Did you ever rebel against what your parents wanted to do, or did you ever go and do certain things they didn't want you to do and whatnot? But
Not really. I wasn't really bad like that. No, I was all right. I was all right as a kid. Yeah.
Beautiful. Right. Question number 3, Vas. Was The Shadow your first TV role, and did you feel that it was a little bit typecasted, being a black boy from Peckham robbing a supermarket? Just generally, just out of that.
Well, no, I'd done a few roles before that, and in actual fact, I was coming up, So So what happened with Only Fools and Horses was that I was actually at that time being considered for a TV series of Channel 4. I was waiting for they wanted me for the role, and they were casting the other roles, so I was on pause for that.
Right.
So I got a call from my agent saying that I've got to go. Remember, there's no mobile phones these days. Got a call from my agent. I've got to go down to the BBC. Ray Butt, the big producer, Ray Butt, wants to see you for Only Fools and Horses. So I went down to the old building in White City, it's bang opposite where Westfield right now. There's a hotel there now instead of the BBC. Yeah, it was there. So I went in there, and this guy came walking down, Ray Butt, and he looked just like Del Boy. Cigar, because you could smoke in the building, a cigar, everything. And he going, right, Vas, how are you? Right? And this guy is like probably one of the best ever iconic producers ever to have come out of this country, everyone in the industry.
Amazing.
So, and I was a big fan of Only Fools and Horses. Then it was on every Saturday. 17 million people plus used to watch this program. So he said, how are you, mate? I said, all right. So just come with me. So he took me in the lift, took me up to the 4th floor, walked me into an office. Said, right, I want you to read this, and I'll be back. All right. Close the door. I'm thinking, this is a casting. He wants me to read this. So I've started to read this script. Right. Only Fools and Horses. It starts off, the guy comes into a supermarket. First Del and Rodney come into the supermarket. Then the security guy has them up, says he wants to have a word with them upstairs. They think they're the millionth customer.
Yeah, that's
you're going to win a grand. So they're like, whoa, one of them ones, they've gone up, because they wouldn't have gone up there otherwise. Rodney and Del. Then I come in, this black guy comes in, right? And he just starts robbing the place blatantly, like picking things up, handing things over to people. The old woman's trying to reach for something. I reach for it, give it to her. I said, that's reasonable. I think I'll have to put them down there. She's like that. Then I go around. There was a can of beer there, low and brown, and it wasn't in the script, right? And I said to the director, Mandy Fletcher, woman director, top draw, what man? She did a lot of Blackadder and this, that, and the other. I said, can I just? She said, yeah, do that. Says, bust that open, drink. I took a good mouthful of that. Carry on, guy, get the frozen peas, put them down in there, too cold, can't pull them out. Smash them. And then this girl's going look at him, to the security guy. Says, all right, don't worry, love, I got him. And then I get to the end, go and get the cigarettes. I go, 20 Rothmans and a box of matches, please. She gives it to me. I just put my pocket, say, you have a good day there, and walk straight out. Then boom, your man's got me. Brings me upstairs to the office. I'm screaming, and then I walk into the office and I just pull a gun out and go boom.
So that was your intention anyway.
No. It's in the script.
Was that in the script?
It's in the script.
Yeah, obviously. So yeah,
it's in the script, right? But I'm saying Ray Butt's left me in the office, so I'm reading this, right? Yeah. So now I'm thinking to myself, when I'm reading it, because I'm laughing when I'm reading it, right? And I'm thinking, but it's John Sullivan, the writer. Amazing. Ray Butt, John Sullivan, producer, writer, and John Sullivan. No one ever wrote any of those on. He wrote them all. So this is like, I'm reading something like, this is gold,
of course it is.
Right?
Absolute gold.
I've turned the pages over, and then he's in the manager's office, and he draws a gun, and I'm thinking, I'm drawing a gun on Del Boy Rodney, uncle, and the manager, and the security guard. And then they say to me, the safe. I say, open up the safe. They're saying the safe is on a time lock. I'm going, well, we're going to have to wait. Because what, 24 hours? I said, yeah. And then, you know, all of it, then next thing you know, cut a long story short, Ray's walked in, because it's like, you know when you write a script on A4 paper, 1 page is a minute. So if it's a 30 minute script, it's like use about 30 pages, or 40 pages, 35 pages, right? Give or take the edits. And then with the movie, 90 pages for a 90-minute script, right? Pages a minute. Yeah. So he's walked in and he said, so what do you think? I said, because that was one of my favourite pros. I remember Saturday. But I said, I think it's brilliant. It's really funny. This is really funny, right? Yeah. And he said, right, okay, no problem. You're going to do it. All right, I'll take you downstairs to the reception. I'll call your agent. Oh, you hold on to that script. And I was like, no. So as we're walking back down, he's like shifting like Del Boy, shifting. I was like, I said, do you know what, Ray? He goes, you're going to really enjoy doing it. I said, no. You know, I'm up for a TV series with Channel 4. Hear me that? Because I'm a young actor now thinking, I want to do the TV. I want to do this, but I want to do the TV series because there's more money. Yes, absolutely. Right, so I'm thinking like, and he's going, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You're going to do this. This is much better for you. I said, but they're interested and they want it. They deal with my agent. Yeah. He said, I'll phone your agent and I'll tell your agent, you ain't going to do that. You're going to do this because you want to do this. And then he's got me outside, Rich literally got me down the reception, and he's literally pushed me out with the script saying you're going to do it. And I'm like thinking, and I phoned up to no mobiles, right? So I've got in found the phone box straight away. Yeah. I've said, listen, this is the weirdest casting I've ever been to in my life, right? I've read this script. The manager goes, is it good? It's funny. I go, yeah, it's really funny. But he wants me to do it. And what they saying with that Channel 4? So they're still making up their mind and all of it.
Yeah, one of them ones, yeah?
Yeah, one of them ones, Lee. One of them ones. Right, so, and I was starting to think that. And then my agent was like, Only Fools and Horses, they're starting in whenever they want you to do this. And I was thinking, what's Channel 4 doing? Oh, they've got some new producers on, they still want you to do it, but they're with the casting. I said, you know what, I'm going to do Only Fools and Horses. And I'll tell you something, brother. That's the best thing I've ever done in my life, my life. And it weren't about the money, right? It was about working on one of the best comedy programs ever.
Yeah, come on, man, classic.
Classic. And right up to this day now, as you can see, we're still talking about it. Till I go to my grave.
My boy's 6 years old age and he knows that scene. I love when Rodney goes up and then he
takes his cigarettes instead of because in every episode Del's got a plonker. He always calls him a plonker. That's right. And that's when he, and it's whatever. John Sullivan writes it in such a way with the comedic moment. Yeah. And when everyone's going, no, Rodney's going, no. And I'm the shadow's sleeping, right? no, he's going for the guns, and he gets the fags like that. Del goes, and I get up and I nick the fags off him. I goes, what are you doing? And he goes, I just wanted your cigarettes. He goes, there's no need to steal. And I take it off him. Do you know what I mean?
So good, man. So good. So
comedy gold, bro.
Yeah, absolute comedy gold. Because it's like,
and that Channel 4 things, I can't even remember what it was called.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can imagine where life's twists and turns. I was going to say, not going back to the question, but the reason I asked, because I know when I look back at old stuff with the old Alf Garnett and all that, there's always them little jabs, and some ain't even jabs. They're beyond jabs. They're blatantly racist in certain things. I'm saying. So I don't know. That's where my question.
No. But funnily enough, no.
About that role at that time.
No. I tell you what it was as well, because it's a good question. Because what happens in the story when we're talking? Because if you remember now, when you're watching it, and he realised, guys, I'm not really this. When I confessed to him, because Del looks at me, goes, this is Rosanna Gilby. You know Rosanna Gilby. He goes, the one who suffers from her feet, right? Yeah. So I goes, and he's going like that, and he goes, and that was you. And I was going, so basically, it's the thing about, because he's from Peckham, Del.
Yeah,
He lives in
exactly.
Nelson Mandela's house.
Yeah.
And the market's nearby. And Peckham's obviously proud.
Peckham.
We're proud of Pecknam.
That's
Pecknam.
right.
We're
Yeah.
proud of what we got in Peckham. It's all gone yuppified now, gentrified now, but we're still there, right? We live in council estates. Peckham's a good area. And so Del mixes with black people, and he knew my mum.
Yes, that's right.
Rosanna Gilby.
right.
So there ain't nothing racist about
Yeah,
that.
no, there
It's
wasn't.
like,
There wasn't.
So I didn't see it. I didn't feel it, but I know where you're coming from.
No,
Yeah,
because there was definitely in that program. There's some not your episode. There's some jabs in that. In certain
there's
places.
a little, but you see, this is the thing.
a time,
This is
innit?
the thing, and I'm
It's a
sure
time.
people listening to this, it's like, what can you say now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
what-
for instance,
for real.
with because you mentioned in Sickness and in Health,
Mm-hmm.
with Alf Garnett, who he's a racist old fella. So what? It's good to do a show on a racist old fella because you go into his house from the comfort of your home and watch the old fool, and every time he gets shagged up, you know what I mean? But
know half of the nation loved him, though, innit?
Rudolph Eamon Walker played Marigold,
Yes.
and he was gay.
Yeah.
The wonderful Eamon Walker, brilliant actor, does a lot in Hollywood now. He was in I think he was in The Wire as well. Eamon, right?
Yeah.
With Idris, Eamon, and then when Eamon moved on, they got me in to play Pele. I was Eamon's cousin, and I was straight. And I was banging birds. I was taking birds in the house into the room, and he used to hate it because so he'd be like, and the aunt housewife would be like, oh, you know, like Pele, they'd be like, your bird, she'd come out of the room and go, oh, I see you later, Pele. I'd be like, yeah, I'd come out to the top. And Alf used to hate it. You know what I mean? So he got his own back. So they wrote it in. So you just got to give. Yeah, but you got to give these things a go. You got to give these things a go, Lee.
100%, man.
You know what I mean?
100%. I've had quite a few roles as a child, and I've been in the acting world, and it was interesting, man. Having that life, it's always being that I've done that has always kind of led me back to wanting to do stuff like this, photography, podcast.
Yeah. Well, you've always been creative, so you know, power. You know, what I mean, I was when you said what you were doing, I support you 100% because, you know, that's what we're supposed to do in life.
And it was always a big inspiration to me.
Yeah, man,
Since I
standard,
was always
man. Yeah.
mad, and families go back and everything, man.
Yeah.
All right, question 5. As for a voice, you have one of the most distinctive and recognizable voices in the country. And over the years, I've heard your voice on many adverts, from radio to television, and I'd say it's a prominent part of who you are. And how would you say it's had an impact on your career on a whole?
Yeah, well, number one, I do a lot of voiceovers. I'm represented by Yakety Yak,
Yeah.
top voiceover agencies. Big up Yakety Yak, they're really good
Big up
people.
Yakety Yak.
Yeah, big up Yakety Yak, and and also as well, I'm distinguished by people. They hear me, and I might be talking to someone, and they turn around and
Turn around and go, they recognise the voice.
yeah. So it's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. And do you know, when I was a baby, the doctor said to my mum that when I was little, I think about 2 or 3, said something about my sinuses.
Right.
And you know, so Caroline would just. I'm suggesting that we can do a little operation, a minor little operation, and his breathing or whatever will be much better, and it would have had something to do with it would have changed my voice. Yes. I believe. And my mum said, "Well, will he be all right without it? The operation?" Yeah. Will he? She said, "Yeah, he's fine." I said, "We'll leave it. We're not operating on him."
Lovely, and here he is. Oh, that's
There he is. Yeah.
And that's another question that I didn't even put down. Is that I read on your website? On the birth certificate, Vastaman.
No, Vasta.
Vasta.
Yeah, I'm junior to my dad.
Junior.
Yeah.
Vasta.
Yeah, but
wicked name.
But the funny thing is, guess what? My grandfather gave it to my dad.
Right.
Manchester Christiana, Jamaica. That's where we're from, the parish of Manchester, and a district called Christiana.
Lovely.
And guess what my grandfather's name was?
Go on.
George.
Right.
So where he got Vasta from?
Vasta.
His name's George. His name, my dad, Vasta. And yeah, but so when I was born at UCH Hospital back in the day, then men didn't really come to the births, you know. And so when I was born, the nurses were saying, "So what are you going to call him?" She said, "I'll just name him after his dad."
Vasta. Big up Vasta.
Yeah, Junior. Yeah, very Junior.
Yeah, no, amazing, man. I feel like yeah, it's been really nice to see you over the years, and as I said, hear your voice. Your voice is always
Thank
read
you.
on read your Kentucky adverts. I've seen you on the radio.
Thank
I've seen
you,
you on Sainsbury's. I've
T-Mobile.
everywhere, man. I mean, like, how hearing is, I can't turn the radio on or off without hearing it, which is a beautiful thing for me.
Nice,
But, what's been your favourite role to play, Vass, and why over the years?
Well, do you know what? I do get asked this. I wouldn't say
You have a favourite because you've
No.
been police, you've been,
Yeah,
you played a bit of everything.
I do. I have. Yeah, but I think because life, you know, with okay, so with acting, obviously, hopefully, young actors out there and coming up, you'll get a role, and it will kind of not springboard you, but it will get you in the mix. People can they see you've got potential. Yeah, so
eyes on you.
yeah. So I mean, I was lucky because I got that a few times, right? So like Lenny Henry playing Winston, I got a big bump there, you know, and then
Big up Lenny.
yeah, big up Sir Lenny, yeah,
Sir Lenny,
yeah,
trust me.
and then there was Only Fools and Horses, big boost there, but that's strange because the longevity with these classic roles, they stay, they don't go away, and then Guy Ritchie used to watch. When he was at college, he used to come home and watch me on the Lenny Henry show, and like my vibes on the Lenny Henry show, my dulcet tones. He said, and then he put me in on Lockstock.
Wicked. You was wicked
So
in it,
yeah.
And
so
you two became friends.
Yeah,
When
well,
I
it's
used to be, you were
homie.
my neighbour for a good 5-10 years. You was my neighbour. We was literally next door neighbours. So we spent. I was in your house, you was in mine, and that was a beautiful time watching that when we first started our families. Really first started our families going back 20 years ago. So that was a beautiful time. Yeah, I remember when you was working on a lot of that stuff coming in your house, and it was a really buzzing time for you.
Yeah. But what I was going to say towards that is, so you pray and you keep going, and in actual fact, I've got there's a job I did which is coming out very soon.
Yeah.
And I believe it's probably up to date. I think it's one of my most favourite ones.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it hasn't come out
Not
yet.
giving out no names.
It's called Some Other Hood,
Wicked.
and it's Adam Deacon's next film, new film
Big
from
up Adam
Kid Up,
Deacon.
from Adult. Another Hood. He did Another Hood, and this one's called Some Other Hood.
Right.
And it is being distributed and released by Paramount.
Nice.
It's going to be in 500 cinemas. It's got Ed Sheeran's in it playing a crackhead.
That should be interesting.
And he smashes it. 3-page scene, and he smashes it.
Wicked. Big up Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, and he wanted to be in it because Another Hood was one of his favourite films, and he's so down. But he was going through. There was a couple of little things. There was this business that was going on with copyright, and there's also he lost Jamel. He was very close to Jamel when he was supposed to
absolutely.
film.
They was
supposed to
close,
film,
man.
Jamel
God bless.
died that weekend, and then he's had all that mitigation stuff that was going on, and then apparently Shane Ward passed away, the cricketer, and Shane Ward was a friend of his as well. So it was all touch and go, but he came in the end and he delivered.
R.I.P.
Jennifer
Shane Ward.
Saunders, there's quite a few rapping artists in it, but this Some Other is going to be really mega.
And the role you play?
I play a black.
Definitely a
obviously
black.
yeah.
I hope so.
I play a racist. Well, in actual fact, here's the joke. You might laugh, and the reason why I say black is because he's a racist detective.
Right.
He doesn't like black people.
Boom. That is a boom role. I love that.
Yeah.
That is going to be super interesting. That's
Smashed the
going to
granny
be
out
top.
of it.
Yeah.
It was originally going to be played by Nick Frost.
Who's that? What's he playing?
With Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. He was in Hot Fuzz. The fat guy, the big guy,
Yeah, of
the
course.
big guy.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah.
Come on.
So he was going to play it, but when he read the script, he said, like, it's a brilliant script, but if you get a white guy to play this role, you're going to lose your fans, you know what I mean? Or it's going to drop, because people, it's going to be a bit too close, right?
That's the best twist ever. You getting a black racist cops on the boom.
Yeah. So they said,
We love a black racist cop.
he said, get a black guy to play him. And this guy he doesn't like black people. Some of the lyrics that come out of my mouth, I think I'm going to become, it's going to become iconic. Some of the words, because I smashed the granny out.
Serious, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, man.
Forward to it.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's Some Other Hood. And there's a few other little things coming up, but I think Some Other Hood is going to really, because it's going to get involved with the generational thing, and a lot of people are going to see, like, a lot of people are going to be wanting more, I think, from me when they see me in Some Other Hood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Different roles again, because you're
Well,
very
yeah, it all
versatile
depends.
actor.
It all depends. I mean, I don't mind, but I've done my apprenticeship, so
Yeah,
I'm
innit?
like,
Trust me.
the industry are good. They're good. It's a good industry. I love the industry. They love me. And well, when they see some other hood, they'll know.
I
It's
love
up to
that.
them.
I love
But
that.
I'm not stopping, because I mean I'm developing stuff anyway, so I'm not stopping. So I'm going where I need to get to and leave something for my children.
That's what I love, man. Generational wealth. Leave something for them. You get me?
Yeah.
Who's inspired you over the years, Vas? Who's been your, whether they're, anybody who keeps your engine greased, so to speak.
I'd say God. Yeah.
God always.
Yeah.
God over everything first. I love that. Yeah, it's funny as we're leading up, because it's leading up to the next question, because I know you're very you're a spiritual person. You've always showed me that from a long time, and many years ago you invited me to your lodge, because you're a Mason, and you're a very proud Mason, which you don't really find within the black community. And I feel like there's a lot of there's like a shroud over it almost. It's like people don't care to know about it, rather they'll diss it first, because I feel like it's almost like the opposite of what we've stood for coming up out of the problems with colonial Britain and being somebody who's British but being black. So I feel like I've always wondered how those two things mix for you. That kind of my question, which I've got there, but I haven't even reached it yet. But that's what I wanted to ask. How does that blend for you, being God over everything, and your Freemasonry, and the fact that you're a very proud Jamaican?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, listen. There's many lodges in Jamaica.
Absolutely.
Freemasons are very prolific in the Caribbean, all over the world.
Absolutely.
And being a Freemason is. Well, I mean, when I joined Freemasonry 25 years ago, I was just like, I did it. I knew. Well, my uncle in Jamaica, they were Masons. So I knew about it, But again, I knew about it like they're in Jamaica, so I knew I wasn't looking at it from I'm a little bit apprehensive about it.
Yes,
in England,
wicked. That's lovely to know. That's wicked to know.
So I knew that it was a thing that we did.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
it wasn't just a white thing. If you grew up in England, you feel like it's a white man's fraternity. You kind of feel.
That's right.
You feel.
Yeah.
If
And
you don't know.
funnily enough, now with Freemasonry and Grand Lodge in the UK, Grand Lodge, I mean, you'd be surprised to know how many black Masons. There's so many black Masons.
Yeah.
Lots of black Masons. Yeah, obviously they do their thing, and no one has to put a gun to their head to go and run up and down the street with your apron on and tell people you're a Mason. You don't
go out. Yeah,
you
that's
don't have
right.
to do that. White Masons don't do that. Masons don't. Masons, we don't do that. But we're all proud.
Yeah, and I
being
see that.
Mason.
I've worked with a
Yeah,
few Masons
yeah.
over the years.
But what you'll find is that because, I mean, I was in a thing called what was I in a thing called? It was called it was Sky TV about Freemasonry. I think it. God, I can't remember. Not Discovering Freemasonry, but it's Sky TV Freemasonry. If you Google Sky TV Freemasonry, it's a documentary, 5-part documentary or 6-part documentary on Freemasonry. And I was in that. They brought me in on that. And what's happened is as I've progressed, it's like, and because I'm in the public eye, they're not pushing no pressure on me, but I'm proud to be what I am.
Absolutely.
I don't tell any secrets in the sense that, because all the secret, if you tell secrets or things that you know about Freemasonry, all you do then is spoil it for someone who's going to be initiated.
Yeah,
It's not like secrets that about riding donkeys or cows or whatever, or goats and all that rubbish, flying on a dragon. No, it's not Harry Potter crap. It's just that you spoil it for that person who comes in blindfolded.
Well, I see it as I see it as, it's taken me quite a long time to, I don't know a lot about it, but I do see it's a brotherhood, and I believe, and they do a lot for charity, and they do a lot for each other, and I don't feel like that you get that within Islam, you get that within the Jewish community, you get that even though within Freemasonry you get all of these different religions coming into
That's right.
it.
Yeah, well,
and
we don't discuss religion or politics.
and I feel that's amazing, but I feel like
you have to be. Sorry to cut you, but you have to. You can't be an atheist.
yeah, you have
So
to
you
believe in
have
God.
to believe in a God. So when you're
that's-
initiated, if you're a Muslim, when you're initiated, the Quran is open for you. If you're a Christian, King James Bible is open for you.
Amazing.
If you're Jewish, you're covered. You wear your cap
Yeah, amazing.
when you're about to be initiated. So everyone's initiated, and we call God the great architect of the universe. So everyone's initiated with utmost respect.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
their religion,
And the creator.
Yeah, their creator. That's right. Yeah,
Indeed.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
And no lodge is opened. Every lodge is opened. A lodge cannot be opened unless the Bible has been opened
Amazing.
in uniform and in fashion, and no lodge is closed properly until the Bible is closed properly. So we call it the volume of the sacred law, the Bible. So it's not the Bible or the Quran or whatever the Hindus might call it. It's called the volume of the sacred law. So basically, as Bob Marley said, man to man is so unjust, you don't know who to trust, the world outside there. So we're trying to do a good job. We make good men better men.
That's what I've read.
There's also sisters. I mean, they have women Freemasonry in the UK, and in America it's slightly different. They have a thing called the Eastern Star. So look, listen, you can go. I mean,
Debunking the myths, I think that is where we'd like to get for people of colour, and obviously maybe people of all different kind of, because
Masonry started with this colour of this skin. It started. It goes back
way beyond what
it goes back to understanding astronomy, that the world was not flat. It goes back to building techniques, how to build.
It goes
right back. So
beyond the pyramids, maybe.
It goes beyond that. Yeah, it goes back to creation. It goes back to Adam and Eve. So
standing on the square means a lot to you. I see that, and you're a very, very well-read man, and that's what I love. Since you've been on Instagram for the last few years, you always show the books that you're reading, and I always like and see that you are a man who you from going in your house, you search for books first, you search for your knowledge,
books,
and I love that you've always shown me from a kid some wicked books on your table. Show me some amazing books, and you love to share that, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
A beautiful thing. Definitely. Yeah, so many years ago you invited me to your lodge, funny enough, when we were neighbours, and I was a youngster, maybe in my 20s. I was like, I ain't fucking going to no blood clot Freemasonry lodge. But it's not that.
How's your mind now then towards it?
It's never been negative towards it. This is the thing. It's more that the fact that you have limited information for something,
right.
and the limited information, and obviously having counteracting information, being somebody who's grown up with a lot of reggae music, for instance, played in my environment, is that you can have conflicting information coming in, and all I can say is any Mason that I've met has always been a gentleman.
Okay.
And that to me stands for something.
That's good. Yeah.
I don't know enough to diss it, but I feel like he's shrouded a lot, and it is that's the thing. I don't think if something makes you a better man, how can it be bad?
That's right. You know, and
I kind of believe that.
Yeah, and then look at it from this perspective. Then, say for instance, now you fly to, say, you're going over to America, say, and like on business, maybe something to do with your podcast or whatever, and you go over there, and you think, and you're on the square, you're a Mason. Now, the really cool thing you can do is that you can get via Grand Lodge here, and also, you know, they'll say, oh, I'm going to go to New York. Is there any lodges that I'm entitled to visit? I can visit, because some are different from yours, and some aren't recognised by Grand Lodge, Grand Lodge of England. And they say, they'll give you a list, and then you've got the numbers of the secretary. You call the secretary, email the secretary, and you say, I'm coming over. Because when you get initiated, you get a certificate. You know, when you become a Master Mason, right? So you're initiated.
You're a Master Mason now?
I'm well beyond that.
Yeah, obviously. What are you telling me? Grand Wizard and everything.
No, there's no Grand
Wizards.
There
ain't no Harry Potter
There's no Grand Wizards.
Grand Master.
No, I'm now Senior London Grand Rank.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm a visiting officer.
Amazing, man.
So that's a very, I got that a couple of years ago, and I think 1,500 applied for Senior London Grand Rank, and only 150 got it in the year that I got it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so but anyway, so for instance, now you go, they say, they give you a list of names, you email them, and then you're a Master Mason. So you get initiated, then you get then you get your second degree, which is like your passed, and then you get your third degree, you're raised. So when you're a Master Mason, you can then get active, like start getting involved in the ritual in the office of your mother lodge, blah blah blah, and then you can go. So for instance, when you're initiated, you can then go and watch someone else be initiated in another lodge, but you can't watch the second degree be passed, right? So, but when you get past, you
Not
can
one
then
of
go and
them.
watch someone. No, I don't.
Good,
No,
cool.
yeah. You can't. When you're second degree, you can then go and watch someone be initiated or do their second degree.
Right.
You can go and watch that, and then likewise with the Master Mason, you can go and watch all three. Okay,
Right.
so when you're visiting, when you go abroad now, you should be a Master Mason, so you can actively go into a lodge,
Yeah.
right, and not have to, because when you're initiated and they're going to do say something in the second degree, they'll ask you to leave the lodge and you wait in the bar or something like that. So anyway, so basically you go to America now, and you're doing whatever you're doing, music, whatever you're doing, but you've also arranged to go to a lodge meeting,
Yes.
right, on your own. Mm-hmm. And they tell you the date. 'Cause
you
in
do a
America,
lot, I've seen that.
yeah, well, in America they do them once every month, and in the Caribbean once every month. Whereas we're on a summer recess at the moment,
Right.
So we chip out for a couple of months. But so now you go and you visit. When you go and you visit in that lodge, right, in America now, you're gonna meet someone who's in sport. You're gonna meet someone who's maybe into retail. You're gonna meet someone who's a lawyer. You're gonna meet someone who's in the banking industry. You're gonna meet someone who could be a policeman. You could
All
meet
upstanding
firemen.
people.
Just generally. You
Just
can meet
general
someone
people.
who's like self-employed. Is this? Is that? Is that? Now, say for instance, you're thinking to yourself, I'm thinking of buying it, because whatever business you're doing, you're on an earner, so you're thinking of buying a property. Well, there's someone in
That lodge that was.
that's going to be able to that knows about it's law. Does law? They might know lawyers. They might be criminal lawyer, but they know lawyers in their law firm who deal with buying properties and contracts.
yeah.
There could be an architect there. So straight away, there's a police officer. Straight away, you've got your safety net within the lodge. You don't have to go to a frigging bar or be in a restaurant and get introduced to someone around the table
beautiful.
who you don't
So,
really
yeah,
know,
so
who's going to really, he could just look at you as like easy prey.
Thank you.
Because you've been introduced.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
straight away you've
upstanding
got a safety
communities
net.
straight away.
Well, yeah, you've got a safety net. You've got a safety net, which isn't a bad thing.
Of course it is.
And
It's
then,
a beautiful thing. I
yeah,
think.
yeah. And then even if you don't go for that reason, when you visit, they know you've come all the way from England, and they make a fuss over you.
Yeah.
And they give you their business card, and then whilst you're there in America doing your business, you know, if you ever feel a way about something, you got some these people that you're working with at the moment who aren't Masons.
Exactly.
You can call someone. You got called this fella here.
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
detective. This fella here.
Yeah.
He's just a nice guy.
Good or bad thing, Ish? What are you telling me? Good or bad thing?
You know.
You
But
telling me,
because
Ish?
You go anywhere.
Masonry for you? Yeah, man, nodded over
You
there.
go anywhere in the world, though. But you go anywhere in the world, and you you can't trust no one, man, because
No, of course you can't.
everyone's at it.
No, I think
know what I
I
mean?
think that's an amazing thing.
So you might as well go in the lodge. I mean, I was in the Caribbean the other day, and I went to a meeting in St. Vincent, and like the love, man, the love that I got.
That's what I
in
was
that
going to say
meeting,
to you
man,
as
in
well.
fact,
I see that post. Lovely. I think
it's
they're lovely
like,
post.
but the place, the lodge, the temple, is falling down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I was thinking when I got there, I was thinking, what is going on there? I was thinking it, and I was thinking what to expect. But they did a third degree, which is like a raising, and before, during, and after,
Yes.
I said to myself, this is what Freemasonry is all about, because the feeling that I got after is the same feeling I get when I go to meetings over here.
Right.
And I was thinking, this is it. This is what it's all about.
Which
Doesn't
is,
matter
would
where
you
you
could
are in the world.
put that in a word? What's that? What is that word of that feeling? Is it love? Is it brotherhood?
God.
It's God again?
Yeah, Jah,
Straight. I love that.
Jah, Selassie, however you want to call him.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
That's what it is.
something.
So
And
so
it's a
after the
natural
raising, they got
mystic, natural mystic.
It's a natural mystic. So after the raising, they raised what they needed to raise.
Third degree. No, it was a brother. Yeah, he got his third degree.
Right.
And yeah, it was all good. Yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously, I've seen loads of third degrees, but I was visiting, so they made it. I mean, they want me to. You know, I'm going to join that lodge probably at some point in my life. I'm going to join them.
That's what I was
because
gonna
they need
ask
help.
you.
They need help. You know, and a lot of them, they're like prominent fellas, but it's the Caribbean, and you know what I mean. It's the only lodge in St. Vincent, and I feel compelled to join them because I've got a property near there. You know, so I'm going to get amongst them.
It's like you answered my question, because my second to last question was that. What do you? I see that you post Mummy up the other day, and Mummy's back home in Jamaica, And
Well, actually, wasn't in Jamaica.
wasn't
Somewhere
it?
else.
All right. Say no more. Boom. But I know you're in and out. You've always had your property and whatnot, and I've always been trying to get out there.
I took my mum away for a couple of months out there because she hasn't been very well.
Oh no! God bless mummy, man. I hope she starts feeling a bit better.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, the question being was, are you gonna find yourself spending more time in the Caribbean? And as I said, you kind of answered the question. And I was gonna say Jamaica because I thought mummy was back in yard.
Well, we've got a house in Jamaica.
I know you've had your
My mum's got a house in Jamaica.
Lovely.
But I bought a property somewhere else, which I'm not going to go into right now. But it's like quieter, smaller. But yeah, I mean, I've got my Jamaican passport, got dual
From a long
nationality.
time, I love that.
And
My
in
granddad's
having
been
a
telling me
Jamaican
from a long
passport-
time.
Yeah, in having a Jamaican passport, it means that I'm now a member of CARICOM, and you can Google CARICOM, which is basically like the Caribbean Commonwealth Market. So there's all other islands that are members of CARICOM. So my passport is not; it's got Jamaican at the top, but underneath it's got CARICOM. So I could go to Trinidad, who's CARICOM, and set up business, or I'd be welcome. I can stay in CARICOM. Go to Trinidad, St. Lucia, Barbados. They're all CARICOM.
Lovely.
So if you Wikipedia CARICOM.
You get the
And
information.
yeah.
Wikipedia CARICOM people.
No, you should.
Yeah,
because
definitely get
this
the
is what it's
information.
all- A lot of young people out there can do this. They should do it.
My granddad been telling me get my passport
get it
from a
sorted
long
out,
time,
man.
and I haven't got it all now.
No,
So,
you
yeah.
got to get it sorted out because you get CARICOM rates when you're out there. Do you know, things like that. And also as well, when you're flying out from the UK,
Yep.
right? You flash your Jamaican passport, and I remember the woman was saying Virgin. She was saying, she's saying. I said, which one should I use? Because I didn't want no confusion. She said, no. When you're flying out, use the CARICOM passport because it's easier on our system.
Oh, wicked.
Because they can book me in faster with the
wicked.
CARICOM system.
Flying
right?
out of UK.
Yeah, when you're flying out,
Yeah.
and then when you're coming back, you just use your English one.
so you don't
Because
have to
when
do
they're
that.
booking you in the West Indies, it goes in faster
Faster
if it's
into
the
the
British
system.
passport.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah,
Things
man.
like that, little
Yeah,
things like
little
that. So
perks.
listen, you've got to know your rights because there's not much entitled to you in life.
100%.
And
Definitely
I got that
know
through
your
my
rights.
blood rights.
100%. Get that
that's
through your
why I
blood
went
right.
with
If
it,
you can get your passport, go and get your whatever
Wherever
island,
you're
whatever
from,
country,
yeah,
wherever you're
your parents
from,
are
go and get your
If
due
you can
nationality.
Get it. My daughter's got 3.
So they'll be running you out of the UK soon.
No, I don't know about that. I don't think so.
Started with
No,
me.
They won't do that because us foreigners like working.
So what's the kind of projects you're working on at the minute, Vas? I know
Well, I'm writing
spoke about.
writing a TV series,
Lovely.
8-part TV series, and it's a dramedy.
Being a drama comedy.
Yeah,
Wicked, because
yeah.
I'd never heard the word before, so
dramedy,
wicked.
got it now, and
You heard that here first, a dramedy.
There we go. And we got I like that. It's very good. And then I've got this obviously got Some Otherhood coming out.
Lovely, another hood.
Yes, yeah, Some Other.
Some other hood.
Some Otherhood, yeah. So that's coming out in I think Blues comes out in October. So all in all, and then as well as that, I'm also doing the Big Nasty tour.
Oh, wicked! You're on the Big Nasty tour. Big up, Big Nasty.
Yeah.
Shout out
I'm
Big
gonna,
Nasty.
I'm gonna, yeah.
Boop.
So my brethren, Big Nasty.
Yeah, man, come on.
So I'm hosting it. Yeah. So I'm working with him now, doing some work with him.
Lovely.
And he's a wonderful man. He's
Yeah, man.
really clever guy. Even his management, his manager Kevin.
Shout out Big Nasty and his management, Kevin.
They're so clever.
Clever guys, yeah?
Very real clever. One's from Edmonton and one's from Brixton. Do you know what I mean? And I have to just look at them and think, yeah, I'm supposed to be hanging out with you guys because you guys are pretty sharp. They told me a story about that Big Nasty show, and Channel 4 were begging him. Channel 4 went to his house.
I bet. I could imagine that. Big
do-
up Big
and they
Nasty.
said to him,
Trust me.
They said to him, listen, we got to the point where they're saying, we're going to give you the Jonathan Ross slot and the Ali G slot, 11 o'clock Friday. They were begging him, and they said, we're not doing it unless you make us co-producers. That was the argument, right? And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't make them co-producers. It was going on and on and on. So they said, we're not going to do it because he can go and do 3 shows a week, and he's walking away for quite a few bags of sand, right?
Yeah.
And then music and everything, and then in the end they not buckled. In the end they saw sense.
Yep.
So they made them producers.
Well done, Big Nasty, for that, man.
So they
Co-producing
own their
on his
shit.
own
They
shit.
own their shit, and it's
Big
really
up.
good. And Channel 4, wonderful. Do you know what I mean? It's all good. But I'm working with him, and then I'm also doing there's a film gangster tour, which is British film gangster tour, actors that were in like films like The Rise of the Foot Soldiers and
classic
Lock,
movies.
Stock and whatnot.
You've done a
We're
few
going
of them,
around.
innit? You've done I think
No, I've done like I'm there on behalf of Lockstock, Nick Moran and a couple of other actors, and then it's going to be there from behalf of The Rise of the Foot Soldier and a few others. But it's just tour, which is well needed because people want to meet us.
Yeah,
so we're doing
definitely.
that. But the Big Nasty
There's a
thing,
lot
I'm
of
really
dough in
looking
that.
forward to that.
Yeah, wicked, man. Big up Big Nasty. Well good, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
where can the people find you, Mr. Blackwood? I know where to find you. I can get
Oh,
you
yeah,
anytime.
well, you can find me,
I've got your phone number, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're brothers, man. So,
Come
you know
on.
what I mean? Yeah, so
100%.
You can find me. Vass Blackwood official. I haven't got a blue tick, and I'm not going to get one, right? Because I'll tell you why I'm not going to get one. Well, Elon Musk took over Twitter, and he
That's
took
right.
my blue tick
Yeah,
away from
lie.
me.
Yeah,
No.
lie.
And then he said he wants to charge me.
Yeah, I
have
see
to
that.
buy
I
it.
did see
so
that.
I said I'm not going to do
Elon
that.
Musk fix
No,
up.
I'm not going to do that because that's not. I am Spartacus. I am Vass Blackwood.
Boop, boop,
I am
boop,
Vass
boop.
Blackwood. Yeah. So
I know.
and then when I got onto the Instagram, which I got on it fairly late in life, I noticed everyone wants to get a blue tip. I've said, but no, this is me. But then what happened with Instagram? And then Mark Zuckerberg brought this other thing out, a new thing, Thread. Yeah, and I kind of
that's
jumped
right.
on that, but I'm not going to do that anymore, right?
So he's not on Fred no more.
No,
That's
I'm
dropped.
I'm
He's
on
dropping.
I'm on it, but I'm not going to be bothering with it because,
Yeah, that Zuckerberg.
as we say in Jamaica, right, too much mix up, right? And it's like following. It's not good for you. But what I was going to say is that what made me laugh about Instagram and the blue tick is that, and I'm going to be straight. So you've got whores, prostitutes,
Yeah.
women
With
that
blue.
are prostitutes. They call themselves influencers, but they're prostitutes. They're
Yeah.
brass. They get paid, right, to have sex, and
Mm-hmm.
with these rich men. And then you see them on jets. You see them all around the world on yachts. Like their friends, all their friends, they're all whores, and they've all got blue ticks. That's
Blue tick, yeah.
if Instagram are going to give whores, you hear me out, Instagram.
I don't want a blue tick.
You give whores, right, blue ticks. Is it really worth me having a blue tick? And that bird, I mean, good luck. No, not even cut, but good luck to her because she's serving men.
Validation,
And she's serving
innit? It's
men and
always
other women,
validation, man.
Doing shows with other women, and they're doing shows with men, and then they get 10, 15 grand, right? Because they
That's
brought
right.
on about 2 girls and it's doing threesomes with some old boy who's got to eat a pill to get it up there. And no, it all goes on. This is the real world we're living in, right? And then she calls
You heard it
herself-
here first.
and she's got her teeth done, she's got her hair done, she's got her tits done, she looks black but she's white, she's brown like what, got a bum like a black woman, like, all of that, she's got blue tick. And it's like,
Blue tick, girl.
like that influence, love thinking you're a brass. So you can find me just as Vass
Oh,
Blackwood
my
official. It
God.
is me official. Trust me, it's me. 'Cause
It's
look,
him. I know it's him.
And then Twitter's Vass Blackwood, and then Facebook Vasta Blackwood, and then I've got a little acting page, and then my website www.vastaman.com.
That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one.
that's
That's where
it.
you get the good info as well.
Yeah,
if
you
you want to
don't
hear a
need no blue
bit,
tick.
do a little bit of research. Yeah, man. Forget the blue tick,
People
man.
are really up for. Oh God, they're paying for them. I think, what the fuck are you
No,
paying
yeah,
for
what's
it?
that?
But if it's
$11.99 a
you-
week.
Yeah, on
a
Instagram.
month.
That's
Sorry,
what
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
£15 a month.
Oh, Vass, man, it's been bloody amazing, man. You know how good it's been to have you on it. And we
Yeah,
did,
now
look
you-
at that, 59 minutes on the button.
Yeah, my phone's about to go off.
Look at that.
But do you know none of the reason why I said
Respect, Vass. I'm gonna stay recording.
yeah.
Just 'cause
No, stay good. And the only reason why I said 1 hour
Go on, bro.
is because it's good for you because you came good. And you, because if it's like, okay, we're just gonna talk. See, there's the hour.
I knew that. I knew that's what he was doing.